Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 133 of the Need to Nerd podcast. I'm Hazy, and I'm joined by my co-host, Patty B.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, Patty, can I just say, I'm glad we're both going to lose due to a snow game. That's,
Dude, oh my gosh.
something.
I was like,
I thought I was going to win, and then they decided that it was just a run-the-ball game for both teams, and now we're both going to lose.
Yeah, run the ball game when you have Chris McCaffrey in your other leagues and you need to win.
And then he gets injured?
Yeah.
All right.
After getting like 8 points, this is going to be a huge game. I was like 5 points behind, so I'm still projected to win. But he's not playing the rest of the game, so I'm definitely going to lose that one. And
we're not
hopefully Courtland Sutton doesn't do too crazy in the money league. Anyway, sorry, fantasy.
No, it's okay. We do we record Sunday nights, and fantasy is a huge part of our Discord and things like that. Do you know what's funny? I actually for the last 2 weeks have been trying to do DraftKings.
Okay.
I don't know if people notice. I actually prefer daily fantasy to yearly fantasy. Classic mode though, not any of the weird modes. I like single entry, 50-50 classic leagues. I find them really fun. I think it's pretty easy to make a couple bucks every week, in those single entry leagues, and it would not let me enter. Turns out you can't enter with a VPN on DraftKings. They track if you have a VPN on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they have to, because laws in different, you can't be in Utah and bet in Vegas, because of state things.
They have to know your location. I can be in Utah and play DraftKings.
Yeah.
But my VPN is set to Denver, and it was and what was so funny is I couldn't pay my car bill either. My car payment was hey, somebody's trying to pay it out of state. You can't do this.
That's a problem.
It was I don't care who's trying to pay my car payment. You let them pay it.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to pay my car payment, you let that stuff go through. But yeah, I was disappointed that I didn't get to play the last 2 weeks. I thought I set a good lineup both weeks, and so on. We're not going to talk about fantasy this week. This week is Witcher Season 3 review. We did our Witcher Season 2 review back in March of, I believe, this year even. And Witcher Season 4 has been confirmed. There was some people wondering if it would really happen and things like that, and I don't know why. We'll talk about why I don't know why during this episode, but yeah, Witcher Season 4 is coming. Netflix is actually kind of making a big deal about it. I don't know if you saw that just this week. They say Season 4 coming soon when you click on Witcher. So they haven't announced a date yet, but they are making sure that people know that, to make sure that you've watched because it's coming. And we're going to get into spoiler territory right away. So, usually during the Nerd Fact of the Week, we say something fun or exciting. And this one is fun and exciting about the thing that we're talking about, or, some other Nerd Fact. But I thought it was really interesting because Season 2 of Witcher was a disappointment for a lot of people after what was one of the greatest seasons in TV history in Season 1. And so Season 2 was a letdown for a lot of people. And then having Henry Cavill back out after Season 3, cutting it down to only 8 episodes, was a thing. And a lot of people are like, why did Henry Cavill back out? And the reason that he mentioned was going away from the source material. So I did some research, because I have only read 2 of the books, played only Witcher 3, and I haven't even finished it yet. And it takes place after this show by a substantial margin. And I want to know, Patty B, what do you think the biggest deviation from the source material was in the Season 3 that we're going to be reviewing today?
I don't. I'm trying to think because I. So funny story.
There are two big ones for what it's worth.
Yeah. So I this after like rewatching this season, I got the itch again and realized I still had Spencer's copy of Witcher 3. I didn't realize that you haven't finished it yet.
No, I mean, this is like the game that I play on vacation on my Switch at this point. Like
Gotcha,
anytime, or like when I don't have a game that I'm actively playing, I just pull out my Switch and play Witcher.
Okay,
I
cool.
had it on the Xbox, and that's the other thing is that I had to get up to where I was on my Xbox on my Switch. It's not like those files transferred.
Right. Okay. So big things that I'm thinking of, right? Like they were setting up Radovid to be king, but like I don't think they did a really good job. And this is like critique stuff of like he really hates, at least playing Witcher 3, right? Like really hates witches, right? So like I feel like they were kind of setting that up, but like I don't know, like
So the very
I've only really played the game.
yeah. So the very biggest thing is the Redanian subplot is actually just not in any of the content.
Oh, okay.
Like
So like his like brother
all of this stuff
and
with his brother, with the spy
and
master,
Dijkstra. Okay.
all of this not in the content.
See, that's weird because I know in the game, right? Like maybe they're just ambiguous about it, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a like Dijkstra hates that the witch that is part of this subplot.
Yeah.
I'm spacing her name right now, but like they don't go into like why really.
Yeah.
Like
so if this listen, I'm a Henry Cavill stan forever. The reason I want to bring up this nerd fact is like it is the biggest departure. There's one other one that I won't get into until we get into spoilers. But
okay. Well, you said spoilers already, but yeah.
I know, but I want to save it because I really enjoyed the Redanian subplot. Like I actually think it's really fun in this season, and like Henry Cavill stay until the end, but like if this is the reason you quit, man, like this was not it. Like
there also may have been an offer to do 40K, right? Like, as part of it. Sure. You know, that's his true love. So like
yeah, the Redanian
one way or the other, but
that is in the TV show does not exist anywhere else in Witcher content.
Interesting. Okay.
This is like the Star Wars problem to me though. Where like you love this thing so much that you want everything to be the thing that you love and are unwilling to accept an adaptation or something that adds to the thing that you love. And it
gives it more color.
Yeah. And I'll talk about how like I think that there is some redemption for Henry Cavill in my research because there is a pretty other big deviation that we'll talk about later. But yeah, fun fact, the Redanian, if you love the Redanian storyline, you better watch the Witcher TV show because that's where you get it.
And I can see like why they would want to do something like that, right? Where it's like they're trying to capture some of that Thrones magic and audience and the like political ness.
Fun fact, that's actually what you left from season 2, reviewing our season 2 show notes. So
yeah.
If you want to talk about this show, I'll probably be posting stuff in the Discord because this is my favorite fantasy TV show right now, and I'm really excited for season 4. So check out the Discord where you can also see us talking the schmack on fantasy football, see me posting anime memes, and so on and so forth. Hey, let's get into this though. It's been season. I think that this is the most Witcher I've watched since season 1 because I think I watched season 3 twice this year, or if not 3 times. So talk to me. What were your? But without getting into the specifics, so that if people haven't watched it yet, maybe they were turned off by the negative bomb reviews to start. What were your first impressions of watching season 3 of Witcher?
Yeah, I I don't know, fact check me on this one, but like I feel like it was like a long time between season 2 and season 3 as well. Um it felt like we went a bit without having any Witcher content. Um
Well, not content because they released the cartoon between them, right? On
oh, right.
Netflix.
Okay, yeah, I completely spaced the
I've
thing. Yeah.
I've never seen it for what it's worth.
I guess it was 2 years between each season, 2019 to 2021. I guess it was like a year and a half
Oh,
though.
I was just gonna say, I guess I didn't watch season 3 twice because I watched season 3 right when it came out, and it came out summer of
Mhm.
last year.
Yeah. Um which I think that was the other thing too, looking at this releases. I think I watched I think it was like the first 4, and they had done a split release
Oh,
where it released
that
June and
is
then
true.
July. And so I don't think I finished it the first time. I don't think I think I watched the first 4 and came back to it, and then like I watched the rest of it, this time around. Um, so
It's expected that next year's release will be around the same time between July and September for
mm,
season 4.
okay,
Another
cool,
summer release. So 2 years between every season.
sweet. Yeah, I have high hopes.
Well, hold on. That's not what we're talking about though. Like,
Yeah,
what was your initial impression?
those were my thing, right? Like is noting, just it felt like a long time. It felt longer between releases. I feel like I was missing some Witcher content, and I guess I didn't watch the cartoon. Um, and so for me, when I first watched season 3, I had kind of forgotten about Witcher. It wasn't like the
Oh,
anticipated release that I was,
that's the funny. I had
normally
a
for.
very. This was my most anticipated show to come back. I
Mm,
I I had high hopes for season 3. I thought season 2 was not as good as season 1, but that they would redeem themselves just due to the strength of the cast, due to the subject matter and the storyline that they were going towards. I had really high hopes, and I mean, I'll just give initial impressions. I think this has the best episode of the entire series. I think that this has the best moments of the entire series. I think this has the best fight of the entire series. I think that this has the best storyline of the entire series. Um, I uh, Listen. Watching season 1 of Witcher is an experience that you only get to experience the first time once, and
mm-hmm.
like that's cool. Um, but watching season 3 is one that gets to be repeatable, and I like that more. So that's my initial impression. Do you have any questions for me before we go on to spoilers?
You said the best fight. I
Oh yeah.
mean, I think it's pretty hard to top season two's like battle with like the witch that possessed Ciri, and like all the witchers at Kaer Morhen. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I mean, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
why opinions are subjective.
Okay. Okay.
Let's, I guess, spoiler time, because like we can't hold ourselves into our seats anymore. Let's take a high level look, our overall impressions, with not just our first memories, which is really, let's actually go back. We got to go back because we gave overall impressions without spoilers, but I got to give my first impressions. I loved it the first time I watched it. I was so confused the whole time.
With the letters,
The letters?
with like
No,
the
no, no,
like.
no, no, no. I was so confused as to like why it was getting hate. I thought they fixed
Oh,
everything wrong with season 2.
gotcha.
In the pacing, the pacing is crazy good. Like this all takes place in like 4 weeks or something. Like it's so good.
Hmm.
Um, there are some things that we'll get into that I'm like confused about, but yeah, I overall I just my first impressions and my first memories of this is like watching it with Devonair. And I actually remember watching episode 1 specifically and being like, oh, yeah, this season got back to like what season 1 was. Like, this is going to be good.
Yeah, not just as far as like an overall like impression, not just getting back to what made season 1 great, but they added in the combat, like it looked so much more like the games, right? Where you had some of these just like crazy action, crazy kills, like the speed at which Geralt moves, and like that was all very true to form, which was really refreshing.
Yeah, we'll get into some of that during Lovitz, but with spoilers, Patty B, is there anything in your overall impressions that you couldn't talk about? If people, by the way, we're going in now, so turn this off. Go watch the show. Is there anything you couldn't get into with your overall impression of like, oh man, like this elevated the show for this reason or that?
Not really. I think I don't think overall like my thing like impressions change like with spoilers. As far as like my first impressions of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed. I mean, I guess that's kind of a love it, but yeah, I don't know. That's I don't think my opinions change like adding spoilers.
Yeah, I think like just the political depths that like between the mages, between the North and Redania and Nilfgaard and like,
yeah,
like the whole I it's so funny because like you listen to people talk about like how they hate like the political stuff in Star Wars, but then you ask them like what they love about the prequels, and they're like, oh, I really love this dynamic, and it's like, oh, cool, that's the political stuff that you love, that is set up through those conversations. And the same thing is true here. The difference between the Brotherhood and the Mages has been set up for 2 seasons. And now we're seeing the Brotherhood betray in multiple ways. He's like all over the place. They're taking advantage of these girls. And it's I don't know, it's a thing of beauty. Like, betrayal is a really fun thing to toy with and play with on screen. And I don't know, I think that this season does a really good job of it.
It's the politics is definitely multifaceted and bigger in this season, where you have the elves angle, you have Nilfgaard, you have the witches, the sorcerers, and
yeah, in season 2 it felt like we were two-pronged, right? We were like,
yeah,
the wishes on the Bog Witch, and then we had the Witcher training. Like, that was the whole season, right?
Sure.
And
yeah, that was a lot of
And then in season 1 it was like a web of, like, it was this interweaving web of what is going on, like what.
Right.
What is actually happening?
What is going on? But everything is fine, Siri.
Like, but the fact that you didn't know what time you were in, and you were trying to piece together what was happening, was beautiful. Like and then it converging at the end was a thing of beauty. In this one, everything is doing this. It's this weaving thing again. With the political stuff, with the love story, like everything in this season, it honestly, like, I just think the writing is so good. I think it's. I'm really sad that Henry left. Like, I think that he could have. There's only 2 more seasons of the show. I think that he could have crushed it to the ends of the earth.
Oh, really? It's only 5 seasons?
Yeah.
This is the okay. This seems like one that could go on for like 10.
I love it when they don't. So.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character this season? In this segment we talk about our one character stands above and beyond the rest. And this season, for season 3, Patty B's favorite character is
It's Siri. I think she goes through a lot of growth. I think that her kind of coming into her own after the events at the tower, and right, like starting on her own path, because there's a lot of time where Geralt and Ciri are not together, right, and then she like magically appears for like when she's being chased by the Wild Hunt, and I think there are some big character moments in those like desert hallucinations and kind of that back half of the season um that make her endearing this season.
Yeah, I think that her quote unquote solo episode is like really good. Like that's it. Actors talk about this a lot. Like, and you and I have both done acting in whether it be high school or local theater and whatever. But like, one of the things that you have to do when you do auditions and stuff is you have to do like a solo scene where like you carry a scene by yourself. To do a whole episode for the most part, I mean, like it's 7 of those scenes in one episode in a lot of cases for her here, and I just think I think it's Freya is her name. She just knocks it out of the park in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, which I remember, I think, was it season 2, like, what people had the complaints about her, like, growing up, right? That was something we talked about in our last review.
I think that the complaint has, yeah, I mean, the girl, this is the thing, I'll just mention this now. So season 4 is done filming, and they are actually back-to-back filming season 5. Like, they're just knocking it out. Going. They're not skipping stuff.
Cool.
And I don't know, man. Kids hit puberty, like.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is those feelings that people had with season 2 did not exist for season 3.
Oh no,
because like,
happened.
Yeah, and she's already an adult, like, and she's adult for most of the rest of the series, like, so not most of the rest, for the rest of it.
Here, right? Is she supposed to be like
basically
14 to 16? I don't know how old she's supposed to be here. The funny thing is the girl that plays the other Ciri is like probably the age that the series supposed to look. Like,
so yeah, okay.
Listen, I guess
think Wild Hunt is like
that much older, thing. Right? She can't be. She has to be like 17 when this was filmed.
Sure.
She just looked 12 when the show started, and then looked. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I get what you're saying though. I think Ciri's a great pick. My favorite character in this season is probably a little weird. It's Vilgefortz.
Okay, interesting.
I don't always pick a villain.
Gotcha.
But he sells it well. Like, the first time I watched it, I did not see his turn. And because I had not read all the books, because now I'm gonna get into the other difference in the show to the books. I didn't even know he was a bad guy. Like, and I don't know what place he takes in the video games for what it's worth. Like, I haven't gotten far enough that I've interacted with him yet. I don't know. I assume he's dead, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think we see him then, but yeah.
I haven't seen him in Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I thought he crushed it. Like, legitimately, for how little screen time he had in this season compared to other characters, every single minute was impactful. And I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he and talking about the best fight, I get why you like the fight in season 2, but he obliterates
Yeah.
Obliterates Geralt. And is talking schmack the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely did not see his turn coming, like, especially with them propping up Stregobor, right, as like this bad person that you don't like since episode 1, season 1. Right.
I was talking
they're like setting him up.
I was talking about this with Devonair. That we're like watching. I was like, I know that he's not like ultimately the bad guy, but I like hate him the most still. Like he's
right.
Still...
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that tracks. And so like when they're going after Stregobor in at the dance festival party thing, the coven. I don't know.
The coven?
Yeah, you didn't see his turn. Yeah, that's the whatever they call it. I don't know.
The convoy? Or it's not called the convoy. Now you messing me up.
Oh, dude.
I know what you're talking about.
Anywho. Yeah. And like he seemed kind of lame in other seasons, right? Too, right? Like his shtick was like he always has the sword, right? Like he didn't really do like anything else cooler than that. But then, yeah, that fight happens with Geralt, and just it shows how powerful he is.
I
know
it's a lame pick. Like I think he's only in like.
I don't think it's lame. I was thinking about that. There's a case on for Tisea. Like
yeah,
I had a case to choose Tisea. I was going between them in my mind. So.
I gotta ask, who's your least favorite character this season? As notes on the show notes, but I actually have one like that I think this is my least favorite character of the show.
Let me get the character's name.
I'll go first.
It is yeah,
I can't stand Fringilla. I actually like. I don't know, like this. I don't know that we like normally swear on this podcast, and like I don't know that like listening to like a Witcher episode is the greatest with your kids. But I am actually gonna swear right now. I think she's like a total bitch. I think that like she sucks monkey donk, and like I can't stand her. I think that she has no backbone. I think that she's like a total piece of shit with no morals, with no, and like she acts like she's right and like people are wrong, but I think she just sucks. Like I think Fringilla is just plays the victim all the time and just is bad at everything she does, fails at everything she does, and just sucks. Like you are just a total nepo baby piece of shit, and I cannot believe that you think that you deserve any place anywhere, you piece of crap. Like, you've done nothing but hurt everyone around you. You killed your uncle that gave you your position of, like, you have no moral standing for anything. You've not earned an ounce of your power or your wealth or, like, I think she sucks so bad. Like, she's my least favorite character in the whole series.
That makes sense. I mean, they want you to feel a bit that way, right? Because of what happens to her and what she does, so the choices
What
she
happens
makes.
to her? Everything that happens to her is her fault.
A lot of it, yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Who's your least favorite?
Wow. Okay. To go along with Frangilla, it's for me, it's Francesca, the like Queen of the Elves. She seems really kind of lost in this season. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I wonder
the
how that
angle of
would
like the
go
other
next
elves.
season.
Yeah, because apparently she's like one of the founding like members of like the lodge, which is like the group of sorcerers and stuff after the Brotherhood. Um, but like everyone is dying around her, and it's just like she just doesn't really have direction. I feel like
Sure.
so it just yeah, she's just not one of my favorites.
That's fair. We don't normally get into the negatives, but I really wanted to talk mad crap on like
Yeah, you did.
I just can't stand her as a character. Is there a favorite storyline you had from this season?
Um, I would say um that the plot with the Brotherhood to trap Stregobor, right? All the like pieces that went into that, um, with um getting Yennefer's old wizard boyfriend involved and like all the different angles there. Um, like the ball scene is like one of my favorites. Um, and yeah, so that kind of I'll say that's my favorite storyline.
I think my favorite storyline this season has to be I think it's gotta be family and understanding that like family doesn't necessarily come from your blood. You know, both.
Hmm.
You know, when Tissaia kills herself, she calls Yennefer her daughter. When Yennefer says goodbye to Ciri, she calls her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
When I will never get his name right because he's always Dandelion in my head.
Jaskier.
When Jaskier talks to Ciri, they talk as though they're family, and I just think that like Ciri, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about Ciri in the. This is gonna suck. My phone's going off. I just think that like these characters recognizing this for themselves is my favorite storyline because this is something that all of them felt like they lacked. You know, I think a huge part of Geralt's story is feeling. I mean, we see it right at the beginning of the show, right? Like he goes to this druid that we were watching it, and Devin was like, "Who's this again? Is that his mom?" I was like, "No, it's the girl his mom left him with that took him to the Witchers." And you know, just understanding that like family. Maybe it's because it was Thanksgiving or whatever, but like family is more than just your blood. It's the people that you surround yourself with that are the most important to you. I think this season tells that in this world.
That's awesome. Yeah. Family's huge in this. I think as a overall general storyline, yeah.
We're gonna go over favorite episodes, but I'm gonna go first because I think the best episode of the entire show is this season, and you've already hinted at it, which is why I'm going first because the Art of Illusion is the Conclave, and it does everything good about season one all wrapped up into one episode. and it is spectacular. It's so good. Uh, where there are layers within layers within layers within timelines of the same episode. The story's told multiple times. It was so funny. We were rewatching it. I was like, "Oh, this is the end of the episode." I was like, "Wait a second, this all happens in one episode?" Like, that's crazy.
Right. And it was the end. Like, that was the break. Like, it was basically the finale, the mid-season finale. And then they did the last 3 episodes was like the later release.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best episodes in TV history. I think that it encapsulates the characters really well. Their willingness to work together, betray each other, like the politics, like it entangled everything that we built up to into one moment, and then did it again. Like, it was so good. What about you? What's your favorite episode?
So mine is actually the next episode, season 3, episode 6, titled "Everybody Has a Plan Until They Get Punched in the Face." So you kind of start. That's the episode where I feel like all the betrayal and everything comes to a head, and like we see the Redanian soldiers taking over here. We see the Scoia'tael invading, right? You get a big fight, like when obviously the fight between Geralt and Vilgefortz is like great, but there's something about like the big group battle that I really loved with this season too. So I'd have to say that was my favorite episode would be when all that comes to a head.
I think that there are so many interesting parts to that episode. For like, I don't know, like there's some things we'll get into and could be better with this episode, but like, just like everybody like, all right, well, if it's you, like, I was on this side, now I'm on this side, now I'm on this side, and like, I just want to be on the side that like I align with the most. I don't really care at the end of the day who's in charge of the side.
Right, yeah, that the whole like neutral, like being neutral thing, right? Like, we're not here for you, Witcher, right? Like, is are you gonna get involved? It's like, no, like I don't want to deal, like, it's not my fight. Like,
Well, I think about like the mages that like were like on Redania's side at first, and then they're like, well, obviously we're not going to let them just destroy
everything.
Yeah. So like, we're on your side again. And then you think about what's his name, the douche rocker,
Strigobor.
Yeah, you think about Strigobor, and it's like, he's like, let me distract them. It's like, well, I don't care, go kill yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Like, if you want to kill some elves to distract, like, give us a distraction,
Yeah.
go for it. But like, I don't know, that makes you like, I know that redeems you in any way, you know, like.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
How many could be better for this season?
I'm trying to think. Like, this season is good. I think a lot of people like stopped after season 2 and like didn't come back, but I feel like there's like a lot of good, like, there are a lot of big things that happen in this season, right? Like, Kahir has his turn. You have like Tesea's sacrifice, all the good stuff with Jaskier and Radovid. There's a lot going on, and so like I don't know if for the like, casual average person, right, that they would like really dig it, but like entrenched fantasy fans like us and people who've watched all the other seasons, it's great.
Which could be
So
better.
really, so, may have been the could be better as it may have been off-putting for your average viewer, just with so much going on. Like with the departure of Cavill, right? Like they wanted to try and put a button on this part of the story. So, like, which is weird. I guess that it's just going to be Hemsworth as Geralt.
Yeah.
It's not like another Witcher. It's just recast. So,
all right, I got some things to say because I
Okay.
do have could be betters for this season. I want to talk first about the review bombing of this show.
I noticed that.
You're
Ugh.
telling me that this deserves a 19% by audiences on Rotten Tomatoes? Y'all are crazy. Y'all are not gonna get fantasy TV shows or fantasy things made for you if you keep doing this kind of crap. They just won't make them because
Right.
y'all are being ridiculous. They will stop. They will say it is not worth it. The fan bases don't actually want it, and we won't do it. Listen, you want to go attack Aragon, the movie, go for it. It was a steaming pile of doggy poo-poop, and they should not have any license to make a movie that bad in the history of mankind, let alone, one of the greatest book series for teen young adventure fantasy of all time. Like, just, whatever. This, how do I agree with the critics on anything on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know the last time that could be true. So here's the thing. There are some problems with this season. One, and it will be a problem every single time we cover a show that does this, 8 episodes is not enough for a season of television. And you can tell that because you took an entire episode for Siri in episode 7 and then had to do 3 episodes worth of content
in 8.
in 8.
Yeah.
And it's stupid. It's so stupid. Because it would have been great? Those 3 episodes.
And you know what? I imagine that, like, with some of these, like, review bombs, right? Like, talking about that, like, because everything felt so, like, mashed together in episode 8, right? Like, that's people's last impression. Like, it's the last impression before they go and write something. So, like, I think that affects people's, like, opinions and
Listen,
like what they post.
episode 8 sucks bad. Guess what? All the other episodes of this season are total fire. Every single one. Do not make 8 season episodes of TV shows. 8 episode seasons. It's just if this was 10 episodes of a TV show, there would not be a problem.
8's just the worst number, right? Like 6 is good, like because it's evenly broken out. Like you can do it in 6, you can do it in 10, but 8 just always fails.
It's like some kind of rule.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's a 6 episode series, like
so
2 movies,
weird.
basically, right?
Yeah,
like,
it really is what it is. Okay. Rather could be better is Kahir. I don't even understand what happened with you here in this season. Like, legitimately, never at one time did I understand his motives, what he was doing, why he was doing it. Was he just trying to go kill himself with, like, legitimately, was his entire plan to just go kill himself?
By doing all the
I just don't.
masquerading as
I
but
don't
he wasn't.
even.
Yeah, he wasn't subverting it, right? He
Like,
was
what
still
is
doing the
happening?
missions. Yeah, yeah. And then just like gives himself and
I literally never at
shows
one point understood
remorse.
his entire plot in this in
Sure.
this season. Um,
Yeah,
I think those are my could be betters. Uh,
makes sense.
I feel like I already went off on Fringilla, so I don't need to do. Like, it's not even a could
Yeah.
be better. Maybe like good storytelling in some ways. Um, I guess the whatever the Pyromage's name like ended up not mattering. That was weird.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, just booked as this like
Like the big
huge threat,
baddie, and then didn't
big
matter.
villain.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, I think those are my could be betters. Should we talk about Lovitz because we're gonna have a lot of them.
There's gonna be a lot. Yeah, this is
Let's
great.
popcorn it. You go first.
Okay. I loved the Yaskir and Radovid. Like Yaskir is always one of my favorites, and um I loved it was my other like possible like favorite storyline. Um was that dynamic and yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. Yaskier is if you just listen to audiobooks to listen to them, like, or do you listen to them to fall asleep? But how do you listen to them?
It depends. Um a lot of times I'm listening at work and I don't get to focus as much as I would like to.
Mm,
I don't like to like listen to them to fall asleep, mostly because I can fall asleep wherever, whenever.
it's so
Um,
annoying. You and my wife, Shelby and I have
yeah,
talked about this. Um,
yeah,
no, I think that like Dandelion is like one of the best characters in the books, and like I feel like he doesn't get enough screen time in Witcher 3. Like he's like he needs more. I love that one. My first love it is for just the costume design in this show. Like you know, I think we lose how good stuff like that is. And there was a moment where oh my gosh, what is the emperor's name? I'm like losing off the top of my head.
Amir.
Amir stands up and has to fix his armor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's real armor. Like that he's wearing real armor. And I don't know, man, like the costumes in this season were I mean they've all been great, but like spot on. Like it looks so good.
Yeah, another one of my lovets was from season one.
What?
The what? Oh, I thought you were sorry. I thought you were
I was talking about this season.
not episode one.
Episode 1.
Sorry. Yes.
Got it.
The like anteater like sniffing the elder blood, right? And like that using that as a tracker, it gave me Dawn fan vibes of like when you saw it for the first time. You were like, oh my gosh, what is this new thing? A first Gen 2 Pokemon. Um yeah, that was a really cool scene.
Jaskier in this has a notebook with him. And like I don't really remember a lot in season 2. I remember in season 1 that he was like either, you know, writing and stuff, but like in on the boat, stuff like that. He has like a lot of really good moments, specifically where you see that he's actually writing about Ciri and not about Geralt. And none of the songs have come out yet.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to note that he is doing that.
That's something interesting. I hope that they're doing this where like they'll release like with the last season or whatever, like he's done with the songs.
Like his hidden
There'll be like an
tracks.
album of like Jess Gear's like writings, and like that would be so cool. Speaking of bards, one of my other favorite things is the fire song during the ball
The
thing.
conclave?
All is not as it seems.
Did you like that?
And Jaskier's like disdain for this other troop of bards. Like, I loved that dynamic.
I thought you already talked about Ciri a bunch, but I was going to mention just her character growth in this season of like. It's so funny. We know that CD Projekt Red's making a new Witcher game. It is gonna be the Ciri game, and like I assume that they will immaculately time it with this show in some way. But I just that last scene that she has. Where she says her name is it Flea? Fela?
Yeah. It does start with an F though.
Where she's joining the rats so that she can kind of go forward I think it's probably really meaningful for the future seasons. And two, like, says that she is forging her own path now. There's no one in front of her to like tell her what to do. And if you played the Witcher 3 video game, like you kind of get to play those parts for her a little bit, as you play the game, as you kind of follow in Ciri's footsteps. But it's cool to see her like take initiative, and that episode is like I said, I think it's probably so hard to film an episode where you are on screen for 40 of the more than that 45 of the 50 minutes 38 of them by yourself with a lizard and a horse and a like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's no horse. That's a unicorn.
That's true. Fair.
And a sand monster.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I love that. What about you? You got any other big ones?
Man, another like really good monster in this one, right? Was the simulacrum of Ciri.
No,
that
that's
had all like the heads and stuff.
Nope.
You didn't like that?
Nope.
That was a wild in episode 2.
Nope.
And we are into spoilers, right?
I do have a love it for this, but go ahead.
Part of that, right, is like, oh, did it actually get dead, right? Like all of it, because like someone's masquerading as Ciri.
Well, no. The amalgamation is not like that girl is the same girl that they were trying to save. They just went and got her.
It was all the witches that were taken from the.
So that's the girl that like with the werewolf and the druid. That's the same girl. So the one that has the Ciri memories placed on her.
Okay.
In this season,
right?
That he took from that place. That is the same girl. That that was always the plan, was to give her to the Emperor instead of Ciri.
Oh, okay.
He just followed through with his original plan.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I missed that. Where I was like, I guess, like I thought that was
one of my big love-its though is I love it every time Geralt takes that potion or like any of his stuff to like enhance himself and like changes his body and his face, and like the animation there looks so cool. Like I that's a huge highlight for me.
Yeah, that's a huge part. Yeah, that's awesome. Uh, See, now I've just got that song stuck in my head again. Um,
Singing.
yeah, right.
I'll go again while you're thinking. I
Yeah.
think that the letters just that are I think it's only in 3 of the 8 episodes that we get the letters between them. But then you have the letter from Saya as well. I just think that the letters in this are beautiful and do a really good job of enhancing the story and saying a lot with a little bit of screen time. So.
Cool. Yeah, I think I've gone over a lot of stuff before. Do you have any more?
I don't have any major lovets that I don't think were like basically covered. I have a question. And I thought this the both times watching this. Should I know who Milva is? So the reason that I ask, this could be better than I forgot before we wrap up. So Milva's the archer that is given Geralt a bad time in the last episode. And watching it the first time, I was like, should I know who this is? And then watching it again, I was like, I definitely don't know who this is.
Yeah, I don't remember her from the time in like the forest when Ciri was there with those same elves. So that that it's like, who are you? Why do you go here?
Yeah, so that's once again, it could be better on that last episode of like, why should I care about this archer that we're having these deep conversations with that I know nothing about in the last episode of this show?
Yeah, that adds to the mess that was episode 8.
Anyway,
okay.
On a scale of 0 to 5, how would you rate it?
It's a 3.5 for me. Right, it's not the best thing I've ever seen. It's good going back to the roots of what makes The Witcher The Witcher. Sad to see Henry Cavill move on, but hoping the best for things moving forward. Yeah.
If this was a 10 episode series, I bet it would be a 5.
Is it a 3? Does it lose a star for each each episode?
No.
That it... Gotcha.
I think it's a 4.5. I think that sometimes you get dealt the hand you're dealt and you move on. And by the time the series is over, there will be a small blemish on the season that is episode 8.
Just gotta squint a little bit. Like, what? Oh.
But that the season as a whole will be really impactful, really important, really great. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think that I don't know how is it Virgo or
Vilgefortz
reveal happens in the books. Like I just that's not how far I got into the books. And like maybe it's a big deal that he reveals himself in a different way and earlier, and how it could potentially impact the story. But what I do know is that was great, and everything that sucked was episode 8.
Yeah.
Like none of the stuff that goes away from the source material was bad content, in my opinion.
I will say, yeah, I will say this, that like maybe, even though it's not like going away from the source material, like I feel like this season and this show, a lot of the emphasis, it's all about Siri. And maybe that's like one of the things that has like, I don't know if like following The Witcher, right? It's like more Geralt focused, but like I can see that disconnect, and I understand. But like story wise, it makes a lot of more sense to like
Who's to say that
track
she's
Siri.
not the Witcher?
Yeah. Ooh.
I give it a 4.5.
Oh.
I think there's one episode that sucks because it's 3
Monkey
episodes worth
butts.
of content in one
Yeah.
episode. But I loved so much of this season, and I will watch it again. If you want to find you, we're going to do so.
They can find me on Blue Sky at PattyBMTG, as well as X and on TikTok.
Do you want to know what's funny?
What?
Yours says at PattyBMTG on the overlay, and mine says at Spencer13H on Blue Sky, because I don't have any, like, I don't have the, I don't use X anymore.
Good for you.
So it's just, like I have the.
Did you do all the things right? Like as far as like there was a lot of steps about like deactivating your account.
Oh no, I don't want anybody else to have my stuff, so it's all,
yeah,
it's still all on.
Good. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can find me at Spencer13H on Blue Sky. You can find me on Threads. It is my favorite of the apps, but you know, it is what it is. That I think that's at He's a Game. But just look for Spencer Howland. I'm probably the top one. And yeah, you can find me every week on constructive criticism. If you like and subscribe, it really does help out. But leave a comment. It is really the best way to help out the show, whether it be on Spotify or YouTube. It helps out a ton. And then if you get the chance to leave a review, it means the world to us every time it happens. Patty B, thank you so much for doing this episode with me. I really enjoyed it. I'm really sorry for the audio issues last week that we lost an episode. But I did just triple check as we joined the show this week. So I know that this will be good. And we'll see y'all next week with a brand new episode of the Need to Nerd podcast.